begin, I'd like you all to humor me, just for a second. Please raise your hand if you've ever experienced that little voice in your head telling you something just wasn't right. Maybe approaching that alleyway you walk every evening suddenly gives you the chills, or a seemingly friendly stranger's smile just makes you recoil for no clear reason. Okay, now raise your hand again if you've ever made a choice or changed your plan based off of what that little voice was suggesting. That inexplicable gut feeling is called your intuition, and the sensation comes from a far more complicated combination of evolution, biology, and neuroscience than many people think. The simplest way to explain it is that intuition is the interpretation of familiar patterns. Your brain recognizes something in a situation, whether it be, for example, a stranger's odd behavior or the change in pressure that comes before a storm, and interprets it as those sensations that so many of us struggle to explain. However, it's important to understand that intuition is not the same as a premonition or simply guessing, as those gut feelings operate based off of the recognition of familiar patterns and not a lucky guess or prediction. Unfortunately, with today's society, it's easy to mistake a quote-unquote premonition with what many people believe is intuition. If you guys are fans of Final Destination, you'll understand what I'm referencing here. The truth is, most neuroscientists believe intuition operates through the entire right side of the brain, along with your hippocampus and, of course, your gut. These connections are established through a complex bidirectional communication network referred to as the ENS, or the enteric nervous system. The ENS has been studied by scientists for decades, allowing them to analyze the second brain, as it's often referred to, and its little-known yet essential pathway through the digestive tract. There are between 200 and 600 million neurons in your enteric nervous system, which is roughly equal to the amount of neurons present in your spinal cord. All of these nerves are essential in interpreting external and internal sensations and translating them into physical feelings. The ENS is not uniquely human, though. Structures that resemble this set of nerves have been found throughout the animal kingdom, in organisms ranging from primates like us to even insects, snails, and tiny marine creatures. In most organisms, it works in conjunction with the central nervous system in a circuit called the gut-brain axis. This axis serves as a connecting link between your brain and spinal cord and the nerves that protrude into the gut tissue, allowing for a more efficient and immediate exchange of information that may result in the difference between life and death, although the consequences are not often that extreme. More recent discoveries have revealed that your microbiome can influence a wide range of behavioral phenomena, especially in relation to stress. Those bacteria within your gut outnumber our own human cells nearly 10 to 1, and most of them reside just within that digestive tract. In the past several years, studies have produced increasing evidence that the fluctuations within your microbiome can influence things like increased mood swings, vulnerability to infectious disease, and greater risk of developing mood disorders such as anxiety or depression. But what does this have to do with intuition? Well, the first thing to understand is that gut feeling starts with interoception. The brain senses internal body signals using its complex system of nerves, then quickly reacts accordingly based on the information it's relayed. The gut-brain axis can be referred to as a supposed hierarchy of reflexes, with the lowest reflex loop beginning at the enteric nervous system and traveling all the way up to the insular cortex, located deep within your brain's lateral sulcus, or divide. Many split-second reactions occur here and within the central sulcus. These regions separate the lobes of the brain, and they work in conjunction with the anterior cingulate cortex and the corpus callosum, which are also related to split-second decisions and located around the lateral sulcus. The lower-level enteric reflexes happen within the gut wall, typically in response to existing physical or chemical stimuli. Signals sent from those bacteria in your gut travel using neurotransmitters, which are essentially tiny chemical messengers that send information across synapses to other neurons, glands, or muscles. These signals travel along the vagus nerve and up to the nucleus tractus solitarius, or NTS, and up to the higher brain regions discussed previously. The brain then subconsciously weighs its internal information alongside past memories and contexts, including memories of familiar gut sensations that may have been tied to a similar incident. By drawing upon both past memories and real-time information from your gut, systems within the mind quickly shape your feelings and interpretation of your environment into a sort of physical déjà vu, or what we call intuition, all in just a fraction of a second. It's almost like a weather forecast for your body. Your brain takes in real-time information from your gut, compares it to past storms, and predicts what's about to happen before you even begin to notice the clouds. Although intuition appears to be a topic that's largely been studied in more recent years, its biology actually dates back centuries. And although they aren't quite the same, that gut feeling can be closely linked to our better-known sense of primal instinct. Both sensations rely on the brain's ability to quickly interpret internal and external sensations, also known as interoception and exteroception, and draw on survival-based responses built on centuries of evolution and adaptation. However, not everyone experiences sensations in the same way. In fact, some find themselves unable to trust that innate feeling that should, theoretically, represent alarm bells when a situation is unsafe. Many individuals with mood disorders, such as depression, experience internal signals that closely resemble those associated with intuition, especially in the case of stress disorders such as anxiety or OCD. As a result, this overlap causes it to become increasingly difficult to differentiate between which sensations can be acknowledged and which can be disregarded. Despite this challenge, there are methods to help those who struggle with making these differentiations learn to understand their body's signals better. For instance, practicing meditation and mindfulness on a regular basis can help sharpen that distinction. By training the mind to observe thoughts and bodily patterns without immediate judgment, individuals can learn to recognize patterns, which can help shape the difference between a persistent anxious loop and a more grounded, intuitive signal. Over time, this awareness creates a space between thought and reaction, allowing for greater clarity and control in decision-making and less uncertainty in pressing circumstances. Understanding how to master intuition and differentiate between overthinking and gut instinct can make a world of difference in high-stakes situations throughout all walks of life. Split-second decision-making in business, medicine, relationships, and even creative pursuits or school can benefit from learning this distinction, and you might even be able to get ahead of those peers who still struggle to take charge of their minds. So, the next time that eerie alleyway sends shivers down your spine, or a seemingly friendly stranger's smile just inexplicably unnerves you, don't disregard your emotions as just another passing feeling. Instead, embrace this complex neuroscientific process that took our ancestors thousands of years of evolution and adaptations to develop. Thank you.